Okay, so I'm not opposed to Disney remaking their old animated movies, especially if you want to update the film to keep up with the times or even to deliver a good message for the current generation or for your target audience. However, I do believe that some films just need to be left alone. And this might be one of them. I'm gonna do things a little different for this review since the story is over 80 years old. Okay, so the first half of this review is gonna be non-spoilery in case you wanna go see the movie or if you're unfamiliar with the story. And then the second half is gonna be a bit more spoilery because I have some thoughts on it, but don't worry about that, I'll let you know. Okay, some of the standouts in this film that I really liked was Tom Hanks as Geppetto and Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket. First, Tom Hanks. He plays a great older sympathetic character. There's something at the beginning of this movie that's heavily implied, which we'll get to later, but he just played it so beautifully. And even in some parts, especially toward the end of the movie, it kind of felt like it was Tom Hanks playing Tom Hanks, but it just worked for Geppetto.
You got kicked out of school?
For being a puppet!
And even though that Jiminy Cricket is kind of terrifyingly too realistic, but in a cartoony way, I can't really describe it, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he just delivered that performance so well, in fact, I didn't even know it was him until the credits rolled. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not opposed to remakes, but when I watch a remake, especially from an animated movie transitioning into a live action movie, I expect something new. I don't want to see the same beat for beat thing happen because I could just watch the animated movie. And yeah, we did introduce some new characters, but you can completely take those new characters out and it changes nothing about the story at all. Two movies that pops into my head, especially when I think of animated movies transitioning into live action movies, immediately it's Jungle Book from 2016 and Aladdin from 2019. Those two movies did a good job keeping the core of the movie, the story that we love, but also introducing a new dynamic. If you're one of those people that believe that Disney has more money than God and that their CGI should always be on point, well, this movie is immediately gonna take you out. There's times, with Pinocchio in particular, that this movie just looks way more cartoony than it should. At the end of the day, if you've seen the animated movie, then you've seen this movie. But if you haven't seen the animated movie and you're curious about Pinocchio, or if you want to introduce your kids to it, watch the animated movie anyway. Because in the animated movie, I really feel like they cared. They actually put their heart and soul into that movie. With this movie, I felt like it was more like, okay, this was in the original, that was in the original, that was in the original. Let's take this out, and let's put that character right there. Boom, cast Tom Hanks, done. Okay, now for some spoilers. First, Geppetto. Is it possible that Geppetto might be one of the worst Disney parents of all time? Now, before there's a big uproar, hear me out. At the beginning of the movie, it was highly implied that not only did his wife die, but also his son, and that's why he made Pinocchio. But this man needs to reevaluate some things because he was about to lose 2 children. So after the Blue Fairy seemingly grants his wish and him and little Pinocchio do a nice sing and dance montage, he turns to little Pinocchio and says what my mom said to my sister when she turns 18. Get out. Except he wanted him to go to school. Not just get out. Did he show him around town? No. Did he introduce him to anybody so they wouldn't be freaked out about a walking, talking puppet? No. And the thing is, when he got to school, he got kicked out of school for being a puppet. It would have took Geppetto all of 10 minutes to walk Pinocchio to school. Oh, he got kicked out? Okay, cool, let's go back. And I know what you're saying, Oh, but that's not how it was in the original. Well, that's my point. If you're gonna do a copy and paste from the original, fine, I'm okay with that. Leave everything that was in the original movie in this movie, just make it live action. But that's not what they did. They started taking stuff out and putting unnecessary stuff in. But my thing, if you're gonna remake it, look at the flaws from the original or look at the flaws from the movie. Say, hey, that doesn't make sense. Let's update it for a new audience so they don't turn to their parents or ask themselves, hey, that does not make any sense. Okay, so I have a question. When people normally think about Pinocchio, what do they think? They think he's a puppet, that he wants to be a real boy. They think of Geppetto, maybe Jiminy, but they also think, hey, whenever he lies, his nose grows. And in this movie, he lies, his nose grows, but I kid you not, the wife went up, went to the bathroom, came back, and that whole sequence was done. He was basically kidnapped, locked in this bird cage. Jiminy came to help him, came to save him. Pinocchio just started lying, his nose just grows, and then he gets the key to open the bird cage. And then he tells the truth a few times, opens up the cage, and then just walks away. Like there's just nothing there. There's no lesson there. There's this. I get when people say that Disney is just a cash grab company because of stuff like this. When they put stuff out like this, they're just like, oh, hey, people are gonna watch it. Good thing that this wasn't in the theaters because I feel like they knew what they had. That's why they released it on Disney Plus Day. And maybe that's why they really didn't put any thought or consideration into this movie anyway. But my thing is, when Disney starts doing the whole Netflix thing, just throwing out things just because you can, that's what makes audience lose their trust in you and lose trust in your product. Have you seen Pinocchio? Was I a little too harsh? I probably was, but just those things really rubbed me the wrong way. And I didn't even talk about the fact that he didn't even turn into a real boy. I mean, he probably did. Maybe. Who knows? But comment below, let me know. And also, just tell me your favorite animated movie turned live action. I'll see you soon. Bye.